President Hamilton, Dean Green, deans, distinguished faculty and staff, proud parents, families, friends, and those of you who bribed your way in here. Please join me in congratulating the NYU Tisch School of the Arts class of 2019. History has proven that sitting in this room right now are the world's greatest future actors, directors, producers, writers, dancers, photographers, interactive media artists, music producers, critics, costume designers, lighting and stage designers, and last but not least, game designers. You know, speaking of video games, do you people know that Grand Theft Auto 5 is the fastest selling entertainment product of all time? It made $1 billion in 3 days. So suck on that, Avengers Endgame. Now, not only are all of you Tisch graduates integral to the future of the arts, no other group has played such a vital role in the next generation of waiters, Uber drivers, and Postmates delivering people. Welcome to showbiz! Seriously, I am so honored you asked me to be here today. I promise all of you that I will do my very best to share some of the wisdom I've gathered since I graduated from Tisch School of the Arts. Now, I remember sitting where you are right now and probably, feeling what you guys are feeling. I was so excited. I couldn't wait to go out into the world and get started. I was also, a little nervous and confused, specifically about how to go to the bathroom wearing this gigantic robe. Do I take it off, or do I hoist up all the fabric and just sit down, or do I just kind of let it drape all around me? Anyhow, my first piece of advice to you as you set off in your journey is hold it in. Now, how can I best help you get ready for the challenges ahead? Let's just start with practical advice. How do you pay the rent while making your dream come true? This will not be easy, but it can be done. So here's how. First, if your parents still have any money left, beg them for more. And you gotta do it really fast, because the minute this ceremony ends, in their eyes, you will magically transform from exciting young artist to exciting young freeloader. So you gotta stay strong, stay determined. I got through it, and so can you. And when they say we blew our entire life savings just so you could serve frozen yogurt, just keep smiling. Because chances are you'll all laugh about it one day, or only you will laugh about it as they choke on the frozen yogurt you shoved in their face. Now, try to remember that you have chosen the road less traveled. And like Robert Frost said, it will make all the difference. Of course, what Robert Frost didn't say is that the people who took the road most traveled will look over at you on your special road. And they might say discouraging things to you and make you doubt yourself, until one day you get on Saturday Night Live and then they'll all finally shut their mouths. Get them tickets. Now, maybe the wisest life lesson I could pass on to you is prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. That old saying is about to become extremely useful. So let's take a closer look. We'll start with the worst, which might be best illustrated by telling you my own story. So, after graduating Tisch School of the Arts, I set off to become an actress, and I paid my bills by doing the following. Selling health club memberships at Park Avenue Squash and Fitness. Park Avenue Squash and Fitness, this is Molly, can I help you? I was a receptionist for a video dating service where I was also responsible for telling people the exact reasons why they were being rejected, which people love to hear. I sold office supplies, which was so terrible that I quit by asking if I could go to the bathroom, and then I just ran outside with a giant wooden bathroom key, which I still have if any of you need to go to the bathroom. I took phone orders for a bagel delivery company. I worked as a booker for a modeling agency where every day I sat next to this guy who couldn't stop singing The Lady in Red, The Lady in Red. I was a Nordstrom's fragrance model. I was a food demo girl for Huxtable's liver pate. I was a temp for Orion Television Research Department. I was a temp at the Lake and Deru Literary Agency. I was a temp at Warner Brothers. I was a temp at the William Morris Agency. And I was a temp at the Creative Artists Agency where I got let go for not rolling calls fast enough. And after all that, I finally got my big break as a waitress. Now, I may have served you and your family food at the following establishments. Okay, the Old Spaghetti Factory, the Lion's Head Restaurant, Edgebevics, the Melrose Baking Company, the Horn and Hard Hat Dynamite, where I got to dress in 1950s style clothes and I had to chew gum and talk like this. Hi, sweetheart, can I take your order? And every time the song Tossing and Turning came on the jukebox, I would have to stop whatever I was doing and sing and dance to it, which I grew to hate so much that I would hide in their basement freezer, and the only place to sit was on this big frozen turkey, which was so cold that it made my butt numb, which was actually a good thing because then I couldn't feel the cooks and the busboys trying to grab it. I worked at the 4 and 20 coffee shop where the dishwasher always liked it when I put on a little weight, and he would say, "Mommy, you look nice like that." Which I do know is a bit offensive, but back then calling a girl mommy and commenting on her figure was the equivalent of giving her flowers. And maybe I did resemble his mother. The last place I waitressed was at this restaurant called Cravings, which was famous for their grilled lemon chicken salad. I hate that salad, because I worked there so long that when I would walk down the street, former customers would recognize me and point to me and scream, "Grilled lemon chicken salad!" And that was not how I wanted to be known. So to make matters worse, I was auditioning and auditioning, but I couldn't get arrested. I couldn't even get cast in the best friend role. You know, the girl who shows up for a few minutes and says, "Oh, don't worry, Tommy will call you soon. He loves you, I know it." So I knew that something had to change. So one day, I decided to spend all my waitressing money on new headshots. I was so excited. I went to the photo shoot, they did my hair and makeup, I put on my best blouse. Then the photographer came in and got behind his camera. I sat in my chair ready to pose. I felt so glamorous and sexy like $1,000,000. And then the photographer looked at me through his lens and he said, "Why are you so ugly?" And my heart sank. I have no idea if he thought he was being funny, but I was devastated. And I only mention this experience in the hope that it can finally serve some good, because chances are one day you too will come face to face with your own dream killer and you'll have to make a choice. You can let other people's opinions define you, or you let you define yourself. I suggest the latter. Now, because had I not made that choice, I wouldn't be here today starring in 2 television shows and a movie, Mr. Headshot Photographer. And if you don't believe in karma, that former photographer now makes his living running a canine hotel and has to clean up dog shit for a living. So, now that we've covered the worst, let's talk about the best. If it's true that you can learn from your failures, at this point I was a genius. As I continued taking dinner orders, I often wondered what alumni like Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro and Marcia Gay Harden and Spike Lee had done that I didn't do. So I decided to ask. Seriously, I found Spike Lee's number in the phone book and I just dialed him up one day. To my shock, he actually picked up the phone. When I told him I went to Tisch, he took 10 minutes out of his day to talk to me. And that's how I ended up playing the role of Malcolm X. Joke for you? No. Spike Lee really did offer advice to a total stranger that day, and even though I've never met him, I will be forever grateful. Especially because talking to him reminded me of an experience I had at NYU. So despite training as a very serious dramatic actor, during my senior year at NYU, I auditioned for this fun campus variety show called The Follies. One day in rehearsal, another student who was directing the show made up an exercise. She pretended to be a very snotty movie director and wanted us each to walk through the door and just make up a character on the spot. Don't think about it, just do it. Until that moment, I had never done improv or comedy, but I just gave it a shot. Without thinking, I walked in, and for some reason I just said, "Hi, I'm Mary Catherine Gallagher." And people laughed, and my whole life changed. I realized comedy was something I might be able to do. As some of you know, Mary Catherine Gallagher became my first successful character on television. So, remembering Mary that day, I made a decision. I stopped waiting for someone to cast me, and I just cast myself, playing my own characters in my own stage show that no casting director could say I didn't look or sound right enough to play. That show got me on audition with Lorne Michaels for Saturday Night Live. And when Lorne saw me, he said, "Grilled lemon chicken salad, you're just what I've been looking for." So now that we've covered the best and the worst, you might naturally wonder, is it worth it? Only you can answer that question for yourself, because we each do it for different reasons. Mine involved my dad, who often advised me on how to make it big. He'd say, "Molly, listen, you go into those Hollywood agents and casting directors, you march in there, doll yourself up, you put on your high heels, and you say, 'Hey, hold the phone, I got talent. And don't forget, use your singing voice.'" He used to say. Another reason I did it was for my mom, who died in a car accident my family was involved in when I was 4. Part of me thought success would somehow just bring her back. Another part of me thought a little fame and fortune would solve all my problems, and it did. The end. Seriously. What is the answer to the question, is it worth it? Even though the road less traveled can lead to an unstable life where the only guarantee is that there are no guarantees. Somewhere out there is a bus driver who just found out his 5-year-old daughter has cancer. He'll search on the internet all night for a plan to save her, and at some point he'll take a break and he'll turn on his television. Seinfeld will be on, and for the first time that day he'll smile and momentarily forget his nightmare. Somewhere else, a 14-year-old boy who's having a hard time making friends at school will avoid the loneliness again by cutting class and going to his local movie theater. And for a brief 90 minutes, he'll find the companionship he craves. Just a few days ago, a man who lost his mom and girlfriend only months apart told me watching this sketch that I was in 20 years ago helped him get through his loss. And I was at a loss for words. Surgeons help people, teachers help, not actors who pretend for a living and give each other awards on TV. But still, almost every person I've met in this business has been humbled by similar stories. And even though I know society would be just fine without us entertainers begging for your attention, some of the most frivolous projects I've seen in this world mean the world to some people. Whether it's the one smile during a rough day, or the biggest laugh two friends will ever share, or that cry someone needed to get out, or just someone's lunch break escape, or the inspiration they'll never forget, or a familiar look at life as they know it, or a glimpse into a world they'd never see on their own. If you're interested in living a life where you can help people in those ways, then yes, it is 100% absolutely worth it. A few last things I wish someone told me when I was in your seat. First, the secret to becoming just like that favorite actor or director who inspired you to get into this might be forgetting them. Because the world's already seen them, but no one has seen someone exactly like you. You can be your own secret weapon. And second, you can't do this alone. So because even if you star, write, and direct your own one-woman show, you still need someone to watch it and get dinner with after. So you've got to treasure your community. No matter how important some project may seem, the relationships you make will be more important. Your friends will support you through the ups and downs, and you should support them. And who exactly will be in your community? Just look around. chances are all the famous, powerful people you're dying to meet won't be half as important as the people sitting in this room today. And I will prove it. Remember that NYU show I mentioned, The Follies? Not only did that girl who pretended to be a film director become a real film director, her name is Madeline Olnick, and we just finished a real film together. And the producer of that little NYU show was Dan Jinks, who went on to win an Oscar and cast me in a TV show. And remember I said that some students in that review show thought I was funny? One became my friend, and after he got cast on Saturday Night Live, I saw him one night and he said, "Hey kid, hang in there. You're gonna be next. I'm gonna get you on the show, I promise." And he did. His name is Adam Sandler. Third, and maybe the most important advice of all, is never ever talk to Conan O'Brien. Because when I went to NYU, I was on a lot of financial aid. And after I graduated, I started getting all these bills in the mail to pay back my student loans. I didn't have the money, so I asked my dad what to do. And he said, "Oh, Molly, you don't have to pay those back. They don't keep track of that." So from then on, when my sister and I would get our my sister Mary and I would get our student loan bills in the mail, we would just rip them up into tiny little pieces and throw them up in the air and say, "Whee!" But it turns out they do keep track of that. Because years later, I went on the Conan O'Brien show and I told him this story, and it just turned out that my student loan officer, Lauren Badgley, happened to be watching that night. And so she tracked me down and called me up, and she was like, "Young lady, you owe us some money, time to pay us back." Now, last but not least, when things don't go your way, whether your script doesn't sell or that role goes to someone else, you have to try to remember you're already a success. Because so few people in this world are brave enough to even pursue their dreams, and you are. And that is an amazing way to spend your life, just that alone. And if that still doesn't make you feel better, then just do what I do. Call Spike Lee. He has all the answers. But on the off chance that Spike Lee doesn't pick up, just find a mirror, take a good hard look at yourself and say,